Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I'm Siti Nur Anshazwani binti Muhammad Rading, a SS240 student. Today, I would like to share with all of you about anxiety in pre-adolescents and primary school children. Mostly, we always heard about mental awareness among the adults. But today, I will talk about one of the mental health concerns, which is anxiety. But the difference is, I will share with all of you the anxiety among the children. I'm interested with this topic because we rarely heard about the anxiety among the children, but actually don't know how serious this issue is. I learned one of the recent research that have been done in 2022 about the anxiety and its associated factors among school-going adolescents in Malaysia by Encik Muhammad Hafizuddin Taufik and his fellows. Okay, so here I present you a bar chart that shows the percentage of mental problem among children, the age between 3 to 70 years old. The higher percentage is the anxiety disorder. We can see here anxiety disorder within the age increasing. From the age of 3 until 5, the percentage of anxiety disorder is only 1%, but increases to 6.5% in the age of 6 to 11 years old, and up to 10.5% in teenagers between 12 to 17 years old. Why do this happen? Seeing this table, these are the results of the research that have been held in Malaysia. The table shows the characteristic and anxiety status among school-going adolescents by socio-demography and associated factors in Malaysia. The researchers made the research using many kinds of variables that could be factors that are associated with children contributing to anxiety. The factors are gender, male and female, ethnicity, Malay, Chinese, Indian, Bumi Putras from Sabah, Sarawak and others, children from urban or rural area, paramarital status which is married, divorced, singles, age from Form 5 to Form 1 to Form 5, feeling loneliness, sleep problems, bullying, physical or verbal abuse, drinker, drug use, sex activity and internet addiction. There were several factors associated with anxiety among school-going adolescents identified. These results show female students were 1.3 times more likely to have anxiety compared to male students, similar to finding from other studies, explaining it as a result of biological factors, hormonal factors, and experience during childhood. Students of Form 2 and Form 3 had a significantly lower risk of anxiety compared to the students of Form 1, 4, and 5. Increased anxiety in Form 1 students can be as a consequence of the transition from primary school to secondary school. This is comparable with the finding from other studies indicating that early adolescence is a time of life with stressful challenges which lead to anxiety. Increased anxiety in Form 4 and Form 5 students could be as a consequence of the pressure of study. As for the ethnicity, Chinese students had a significantly lower risk of anxiety compared to the other races related to the tendency to somatize emotional disturbance. Conversely, paramarital status, which is married or divorced, widow or separated, was not significantly associated with anxiety. As for the table also, in the current study, feeling loneliness was one of the factors that significantly associated with anxiety, means that loneliness was a painful and widespread problem among adolescents and was positively related to anxiety. Okay, for another important finding from the current study was that adolescents who were unable to sleep, worried of something, were likely to have anxiety. From this study also, being bullied, physical and verbal abuse show significant association with anxiety that indicate anxiety was 3.2 times more likely to occur in adolescents with a history of being bullied. The result also found that those who were current drinkers had a significant association with anxiety. The relationship between the anxiety and alcohol were well documented in another study on anxiety. Substance use disorder, in which individuals with anxiety might start misusing alcohol as a safety behavior to reduce short-term anxiety, thereby maintaining anxiety by preventing the gathering of information to disconfirm belief that a negative thing would occur in social situation if alcohol was not consumed. For the current drug use were also seen to be significantly associated with anxiety. This finding was not surprising, as many individuals may use psychoactive substance, particularly drugs and alcohol, to decrease negative emotion such as anxiety. Conversely, current smokers were not significantly associated with anxiety. Another important finding from the current study was that adolescents who had ever had sex were associated with anxiety, correlating psychological characteristics of episodes of sexual intercourse among adolescents. In this study, physical inactivity among adolescents was another associated factor of anxiety. We have known higher physical activity was positively correlated with higher social activity, and adolescents who engage in social interaction with enthusiasm may not meet the anxiety symptom. Last but not least, in our study, internet addiction had 2.6 times higher association with anxiety. The more addictive to the internet a student is, the more anxious he or she who suffer from anxiety often have trouble communicating and interacting with others in a healthy, positive and meaningful way, which are important determinant of internet addiction. The study also observed no relationship between having close friends, peer support, parental connectedness, and parental bonding with anxiety. As for recommendation, intervention program for this at-risk adolescent should be aimed toward reducing the risk factor in a holistic approach. School and home environment have a great role in helping adolescents to control their anxiety. School and home should be free from violence, including bullying, physical and verbal abuse. Parents should ensure that home provides sufficient emotional support. School atmosphere should be supportive for the emotional and mental health development of adolescents. Psychological support intervention should be implemented by the government and policymakers and made widely accessible to the community. For the current situation, the planning should involve mental health intervention to mitigate the psychosocial ill effects of the pandemic. That's all for me. Thank you for listening.